What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Thanks for attending another episode. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great, man. Excited to get into today. We got a lot to talk about. It might be kind of abbreviated. We have a lot of topics, but who knows how deep we can get into it just because it's in one of those weird influx.
The football season just ended.
Yeah.
Baseball season is beginning, but it's just spring training.
Yeah.
So you don't know anything yet.
Yep.
You got a lot of players up that won't make the team, will make the team. We don't know. So it's hard to, there's just not too much. It's kind of that lull period between sports. And we, as everybody knows, we do not follow hockey and basketball that well to sit here and act like we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yes, go Pistons, go Wings. But
Yes. Always. Go Detroit.
always,
Sports.
yes.
Well, hold on. Before we get
Yes.
started, I want to give a 1 year shout out.
Yes.
We've been doing this for a year. Cheers.
February 16th was our first episode that we ever put out.
Yep. So thanks for everybody for sticking it out. We must not enjoy us that much, I guess, if I said that right.
And we've been doing it for a year. I mean, that's pretty good, right? I mean, you get
awesome.
a lot of things happens in everybody's lives, or you start, you kind of fall off. Yeah, we take some breaks in between here and there. That's just kind of how life goes.
Yep.
This has been awesome. I'm glad that we were able to start this
and stick it out
and keep going. So to another year and even more after that.
I think the impressive thing is like we started off a certain way and we've kind of evolved since then.
Absolutely.
We've gotten better at it. So I think that's really cool. So who knows what the next year will bring.
I think we've learned how to kind of put a show sheet together, prep for shows, kind of transition from topics, and we learned how to use all this audio equipment. I went back and listened to our first episode, like just a snippet of it.
Did it sound like we were talking out of the bottom of the ocean?
The quality was so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. And then it just got, each week just
better and better.
Got better and better until we hit a point where like, okay, we kind of figured it out. And I think, each week has been pretty sustainable, the last few months, but it's been a lot of fun.
Well, big shout out to you because you kind of handle like once the episode is done, kind of editing it or tweaking it or whatever, and then getting it released. So big shout out to you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Well, we both have our behind the scene roles. You do all the social media.
Yes.
Pretty
I
much
still
all
need
of it.
some.
Yeah.
I need some help with that, but thank you too. Yeah.
I need some help.
Oh man! Every time that song comes on, Arizona.
That's all it is. Arizona and Merlot.
That's right. Yep, for sure, Merlot too. Anyways,
okay, so we took last week off.
Yep.
Stuff happens. I was out sick. That's okay. So we didn't really get a chance to talk about the Super Bowl.
Mike's all better, so don't worry.
I'm all better.
He's all better.
I'm
now.
good.
He's all better.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, you want to get into the Super Bowl a little bit? I know it's.
Well, I thought my party was fantastic.
Your party was
great. Oh,
great.
you want to talk about the game? Oh, the game.
Yeah.
And, well, actually, my party, it was great. You won the 20 questions.
I did. First time I won it. That was awesome.
Yep. Awesome.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep. Had a little extra cash in my pocket.
Yep.
So, yeah, no, that was nice. That was a great party as always. The food was great. People were great.
Yeah,
it was put on a good show.
It was a good turnout. And, the game wasn't half bad itself.
No, I mean, I heard a lot of people bitching and complaining about it, but I mean, we had people around and stuff like that. We don't get to see the game, but sometimes you just like to see somebody get their ass whooped.
Well, to me, that's what it was. That's what I mean. It was, when I say it was a pretty good game, I was happy to see the Eagles just destroy Kansas City.
I felt like the Eagles balanced things out because like the Chiefs were getting all this attention and a lot of it unwanted and you know what I mean, unjustified, and then like the Eagles just came through and like just clobbered them. You know what I mean?
It was great.
It was pretty awesome. So
it was fantastic.
And I hope the Lions watch that game because that's how you beat an elite team. You just get after their ass and get after their
and that defense. 0 blitzes.
Yes,
that's
exact
insane.
opposite of what the Lions do.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they played zone covers, I think, for all but 4 snaps.
The Eagles deserve to win that game. They deserve to win it all this year. They
had a fantastic
great
game
team.
plan. Yep.
I mean, you go through and you look at it because they were talking about this on the Darius Slay on his podcast, and I didn't realize they were like top 5 in every category
defensively.
Yeah. It was just.
And then they were probably, I don't know where they were at, like as far as their rush offense goes. Like if you have those two things kind of locked up, like okay, there's an elite team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, they were really good.
Now, I will say I probably watched just because having the party and not necessarily caring who wins the game so much about the game. I probably only watched maybe like 35% of the actual game.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard.
People around and
everyone's, and when nobody cares that much, everyone's having their own conversations and mingling around with everybody, which is always nice. But I don't really have much of a recap on the game itself other than they put a hurting on them.
I remember the Cooper DeJean play. I remember a couple of throws by Hurts. I remember like Saquon wasn't much of a factor because the Kansas City really focused on him. And then I just remember Mahomes running for his life. So it reminded me a lot of the, I didn't get to see a lot of it either, just like the bits and pieces and some of the highlights. It reminded me when Mahomes played the Bucs.
Yeah.
Remember when because they kind of the same thing. They whooped their ass because the defensive line got after it.
So do you think, because I saw a lot of buzz going around this, we didn't really plan to talk about this, but just a question. Do you think the Eagles beating Mahomes, does it change anything or put anything to bed about Brady and Mahomes? Who's
better?
Yeah, because everybody's saying Mahomes is on that,
you know what? It's
still too early to tell.
I think it's, I just like, I don't even think you could really discuss that because like Brady's just on another stratosphere and like okay, if you wanted to say Mahomes and Montana, comparing those two, you know what I mean? Maybe because Montana had 4 and Mahomes is, what is he chasing? This would be,
he's got his, he's got 3.
He's got 3 right now. So like, and I know Mahomes is still young, but I can't go there.
No,
can't go there with that debate. You know what I mean? Like
when you get ring number 6, then we can start comparing you to Brady. And Brady lost 3 Super Bowls himself.
Yes, he did.
So
which is crazy. So that means he was in 10.
He was in 10. He played 20 years. He spent half his career in the Super Bowl.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
I will say this: when it's all said and done, like, and you have a Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks, I think Mahomes could be on there.
Oh, I think so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with that. So
I mean, 3 Super Bowls in such a young career.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And he back to backed.
Yeah.
I mean, for almost 3 people.
Well, who knows? So. Maybe the Eagles put an end to it. Put an end to that dynasty.
They're going to be good again next year. You know what I mean? They're going to be good. I don't know what the Saquon situation with them is, if he's on a multi-year deal or what. I can't remember, but.
Yeah, I don't know their whole free agent thing. I don't know who they're going to lose, who they're going to keep. Cap goes up this year.
Yeah.
So that's going to help not the Eagles, but the Lions too. I mean, going up to what they said was the max, 281?
Yeah.
275 to 281, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
But so yeah, that will be interesting. But last Sunday was the first week with no football.
Mm-hmm. How did you do?
I did okay. I moved on pretty quickly from the Lions loss and the season getting over because it's baseball, baby.
Yes,
baseball is back.
Yes,
baseball is back.
You and I were kind of talking about this. You know, like 97.1 will do like that little quick commercial where they play the rock music and it'd be like, Detroit Tigers host Blue Jays, or whatever. And like that came on this past weekend. I was like, oh wow. Okay, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
Dan Dickerson's going to be playing through everybody's stereos pretty soon.
Yeah.
It's going to be
that's a sound of spring right there.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I love it. And like today, so the Tigers just reported on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And today, their first game Saturday against the Phillies.
Okay.
But today the Cubs and I think Dodgers are playing. So they waste no time in spring training. Yeah. Baseball is back. The first spring training game I think it's actually going on right now.
That's kind of crazy because you wonder like, okay, how much actual practice time do they get? But and then I know when they probably do like these spring training games, they're still having like squad practices off site or just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not off site, but like in a, you know, it's just crazy how quick they get going. But
yeah, well, I didn't mean to jump right to baseball yet.
I think we can move on to baseball.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you want to get into some Lions talk a little bit?
Well, because, so right now, March 12th, nothing can happen until March 12th. That's the beginning of the new season. That's when free agency starts, the trades, all that can begin. So all it is just a rumor mill at this point. I do think right now they can do franchise tags.
Okay.
I don't know if the Lions are going to franchise tag anybody. The only person that kept popping up in my head could have been Carlton Davis, but he's going to be so expensive if you tag him.
Okay. I don't know what they consider tagging. No, Zeitler. That would not be appropriate.
No, you're pretty much kind of want to look at a guy that is going to hit the free agency, but you don't want to lose him to free agency, but you're not necessarily ready to give him a long-term deal.
Because when you franchise tag somebody, don't you have to pay them?
It's a certain set amount.
Yes.
I think based on their position, there's who knows what the formula is.
Yeah.
But yes, right. And it's just a 1 year thing. Now then you can either agree to negotiate a new contract or whatever, or you just keep them for the year and then they're gone next year.
Yeah, I guess in that sense that I wouldn't think that they're going to franchise tag anybody, and I wouldn't surprise me if Davis ends up leaving. I don't know.
No, yeah. I mean, I've heard a couple rumors. Davis, and none of them are good rumors for us. I heard the 49ers.
They want him?
For 49ers want him, and the Jets. Aaron Glenn wants him because Aaron Glenn loved him on this team.
Okay.
And so apparently he wants to bring him over there.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense.
It doesn't hurt us if he goes to the Jets because they're AFC. Not too worried about that. 49ers could hurt.
Yeah.
I like Carlton Davis. I would like to have him on our team.
Yeah, that leaves a major hole in the other side. I mean, that basically slides Arnold's going to be your number one corner, and then who's going to be your number two? I mean, I don't think Rakestraw is ready, or who else? Amik Robertson. I don't know if any of those guys are up to the task of taking on that either number one or number two role. And
yeah,
I just don't. And with the Lions in the draft like coming up, like you can't. I don't think you can look at that position and try and draft to replace somebody with the first round. The Lions either go O-line or D-line and that first pick, my opinion. So I think they're going to probably be looking at somebody in free agency if it's not Davis again.
So, okay, so that brings up a good point. So moving forward, we have a lot of free agents that are coming up underneath, but none that are huge names. I think Carlton Davis is probably the biggest name.
Mm-hmm.
I think Anzarike is a free agent. I think he's a free agent.
Okay.
I think they could probably get a deal done with him at a decent price.
Yeah, because he's more of like he's a good depth.
I think Davenport.
Yeah, he was on a one. Maybe bring him back on another 1 year prove it deal.
Yeah, because he didn't play.
Yeah.
So with that said, what do you where do we need to look at? Where do we need to focus our time? Is it 100% on free agency, 100% on the draft? You split it. You maybe pick up one piece in free agency, put all your eggs in a basket on the draft. Where do you think this team, Holmes, where should we go spend our money? Right? Yeah. Where should we be spending our time? Free agency or the draft?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of different ways I think the Lions can approach this. And, one, it's just like, okay, do they go all in for, somebody like Myles Garrett and they burn a lot of their draft capital and to acquire somebody like him? Because I think they really should consider it. Or do they?
And I would not be against giving up our draft pick because I think we're at the point now
where you're just probably like one superstar away on your defense from,
right?
You know what I mean? Especially on the D line. So, okay, and if you're not going to do that, then you still need to address that position. I feel like, and I know, they could either cut or bring back Zadarius Smith. He's not a free agent, but I think they could cut him. But I like him as a depth piece, but I don't like him to be like your other like opposite Hutch. I like him to kind of come in and be depth, but like I want a stud on that opposite side. And I
agree.
And if they're not going to do the Myles Garrett, then I think they really need to consider maybe moving up in the draft. Thank God this draft is heavy with defensive linemen, DNs, and defensive linemen.
That's exactly what we need.
Yes, I was looking at ESPN's their rankings of players. Like in the top 15, 8 of them are defensive linemen or defensive ends.
Okay,
so maybe the Lions, if they're like they would get I guess they traded back for Gibbs. But like if they really love somebody, I think they should consider moving up and taking a defensive tackle or taking a defensive end.
Yeah.
But I think they need to go all in. I mean, you got those extra picks with Aaron Glenn. That could be like the cherry on top.
Yes.
And I think they get a compensation pick for Jonah Jackson too. I thought I heard that. So I mean, like you could use those and package up your first round picks. And let's say it's with Cleveland, okay? Maybe you can swap some picks too. Cleveland's going to be picking high. Lions are going to be picking low. Maybe you can swap a pick. Maybe you swap a first round pick and get their second round pick where it really isn't in one of the, one round and it's not that bad. And then maybe you just look at this year's first round pick and replace it with Myles Garrett. You give up those third round picks and maybe you have to throw a player in. I mean, there's a couple players that,
there's a couple. I mean, it just depends how much you're trying to take from us when it comes to which player you want.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I know I look at the free agency like, okay, try and supplement it, and then supplement and build depth, and then you make the trade when you need to make the big splash, and then obviously, you know, you do what you do through the draft. That's how I feel like it needs to be looked at. So
yeah, I can see that. My thought, I mean, it's a pretty obvious thought. I mean, this is new for our team to be here. Mm-hmm. And I hear a lot of people, trust Brad Holmes, he knows what to do in the draft. Yes, he does.
He did not have a good draft last year, though.
No.
It was not good.
He also drafted the T. We got the young players who are now gelling together.
Yeah.
They're here. Our window is open. Mm-hmm. So
that's another thing, real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm getting tired of hearing people, like, really hammer that the window was open and the window is going to shut. Like, I feel like that's bullshit. Like, you know, like if you can draft well and and just make good moves and just you have a good coaching staff, you can keep that window open and pry it open for as long as.
Oh, I agree.
So anyways,
I agree.
On. Sorry.
So I guess, why I mean the window's open is, I mean, we never had a shot in hell.
This year?
Years before, last year.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we were never even a contender. Right? I think now we'll always be a contender. We may not always be the number one contender like we were this year. But I think we reached that point where we have the draft. I think now we switch gears from what we were drafting to build this team is now we draft for the future. So now, okay, our offensive line is getting old. Okay? Yep. So let's go start getting some guys that you can get that are going to learn behind, Ragnow and Decker and Glass to get prepared for when it's time to come in, right?
That's the heartbeat.
Sewell is still young, but Sewell can start teaching some guys. He's going to be the veteran on that team when these guys come up to play, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah, you want to get a defensive end if you don't make a splash in the free agent. I get that, but I think we started a little bit more depth on this team. Mm-hmm. Now you look at the free agent to me because here we are. We're ready to win. We're ready to win now. You go get a Myles Garrett. You go get Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, right? You go after those type of guys now in the free agency, the big name players, because we are one piece away on defense, maybe one piece away on offense, wherever that may be, to take us over the hump and get into the Super Bowl.
Well, let's just compare it to the Eagles really quick, okay? So last year or 2 years ago, they went 11-6. They shit the bed towards the end of the season, okay? They brought in new coordinators, and then they brought in Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the big name. Barkley, he made the difference. He got him there. I mean, obviously, I know it's their defensive line and the way they drafted and stuff too helped, but
they were there.
Yeah,
they were already there in place,
right? But people thought their window was completely shut 2 years ago. And they had Matty P. Their defense at the end of the year, and then look what they did. They pried it back open because they made some good moves.
Exactly. So I think it's a pretty obvious. What I'm saying, I think is pretty. I don't think this is anything, but I think I get tired of we got to focus on the draft. Brad Holmes he does know what he's doing in the draft. Most of the time he's going to hit on his drafts. Yeah, last year wasn't the best, but we have our team now. We have a group of young guys. So we're going to keep going and get young guys so they have to develop. No, now let's go get that veteran player that's going to put you over the edge.
Yeah.
Get, Hutch, a run mate on the other side.
And who knows if Brad is not already working the numbers and trying to work this out, because he probably is. And I'm sure he knows. You know what I mean? And so it's going to be really interesting to see what they do. They are going to do something, but who knows what? The depth of it. It just.
But all we're left with now are rumors.
Yes,
rumors. That we don't know. I mean, I don't want to I don't think we need to get into this too much today.
Yeah.
But the new rumor was Stafford is favored to go to Minnesota.
Yeah. Which I was really surprised by that.
I am too. I still think that Aaron Rodgers should just go do it just to follow Brett Favre's footsteps. I mean, that's just. But who
knows after one of his darkness or ayahuasca retreats what he comes up with.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's all just up. It's all rumors right now. So,
well, let me ask you this: do you think Stafford is on the Rams next year, or do you think he's elsewhere?
I think he's gone. I don't know. I can't say that Minnesota is the team. I think there's quite a few teams that he would fit in that could help. Minnesota would be one of them.
Sure.
I don't know. It just seems I mean, okay, I get Sam Darnold was maybe a flash in the pan or not, but man, you just so quick to get rid of him after a 14-3 season.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I'm not opposed to it. I just moving on that quick after a season like that, right? Plus you got JJ on the bench.
Yeah.
No one knows what he's going to do.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think Stafford is going to be a Ram next year.
I don't either. And I mean, if I'm him, I mean, I want to go to the Vikings. That'd probably be like my top of my list because they're ready to win now.
Yeah.
And then you can go and stick it to the Lions again. But it's just strange to me that Minnesota's already ready to give up on JJ. I know he had a knee issue last year and he's still young and they're ready to win, but it's just.
Well, so I look at it a little differently because I don't think they're giving up on JJ. I think they might be playing the long game.
They're just trying to speed things up.
Which I've said, in the past that I think they rushed these quarterbacks way too early into starting
playing.
Yes, okay. You have a Jaden Daniels that comes out rookie of the,
yeah, that doesn't
amazing.
Very
but that's odd. I think these quarterbacks do need to sit a little bit behind somebody.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're giving up on Jaden. I mean, Stafford's probably next year is probably his last year. So Minnesota brings in Stafford. So now JJ got to sit behind Sam Darnold. I know he was injured. Now he gets to come in and sit behind Stafford, a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Okay, now it's year 3. Now maybe JJ's ready.
Oh, so you're saying bring in Stafford. Okay, so I was looking at this from completely different lens. Like they were going to use JJ to get Stafford, like they would trade away.
And maybe they do.
Yeah, which
maybe they do.
Yeah.
Because I didn't hear what any type of trade proposal was. If that was to get Stafford to go to Minnesota, they're getting rid of JJ. I just assume that JJ, they know he's not ready.
Okay, so
the rest of the Vikings are ready to win now.
Okay,
but JJ's not.
That'd be the ideal situation for them then. Bring in Stafford. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Have him sit. But if I would be surprised if something like that has to go down where they have to trade him, that JJ's not involved in that and he goes to the Rams. I could see like McVay with the Rams wanting JJ because for one.
Yeah,
they don't. They get rid of the cap hit with Stafford. You know what I mean, and then they're taking on a rookie deal and somebody who's talented who could potentially come in and maybe keep you afloat until maybe a year or two you draft and you're ready to roll.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see.
It will. I agree with you. I do not think Stafford's going to be a Ram next year. But it will be interesting to see where he goes.
I think there's going to be a lot of shakeup in the NFL this next year. Through free agency, trades.
Yeah. Quarterbacks.
I think last year was kind of crazy.
It was.
We had that one episode of guys were just going all over the place.
They had Justin Fields and Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And the Steelers.
I think it's going to happen again this year.
Yeah. I think so too.
I mean, we were talking about Stafford. The Steelers wouldn't be a bad spot for him.
No.
Because it sounds like the Steelers might be done with both of those guys.
You're right. That would be another ideal situation. They have a great defense. I don't know what they might be a little bit low on playmakers on offense, but I mean they just win.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, think about it. Okay, so Stafford could be on the move. Rodgers is going to be on the move. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields are going to be on the move. Kirk Cousins, he's going to be on the move.
He's going to be
Derek Carr is going to be on the move.
Dak Prescott could be on the move.
Potentially, maybe.
I mean, that's probably a lower chance, but he could, depending on what they want to do with this head coaching position and who they want to bring in.
Yep.
You're going to have a lot. I mean, did you say Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
Yeah.
If he comes back and plays, but I mean, like they're going to have.
And even Sam Darnold.
That's another one.
Everyone's already given up on him. The guy had a hell of a season. I know everyone calls him a fraud, but I mean, he did what he did. You got to give the guy one more chance to prove himself that he is or is not this so-called fraud.
Yeah, I don't like that term fraud for him. Like that's not fair to him. Like he had a shitty deal when he got drafted by the Jets.
Oh yeah,
and you know what I mean. And like, okay, he had a great season with the Vikings. He got him into the playoffs, and then obviously they shit the bed in the playoffs. But like, he still deserves some credit for getting him to where he did. And he's not like your franchise guy. Like I would, if I'm looking to make a trade or bring somebody in, and if I have a team that's built to win now, I'm not bringing him in. But like, he's still good enough. So.
I agree with that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see
for sure.
But we got a couple weeks till any of this will happen, and nothing happens fast. So March 12th doesn't mean anything; just means you can start making moves.
Yep.
But It's what is it, February 20th, and baseball is back.
Baseball is
I am so excited.
Back. Oh,
I can't wait, man. I'm so jacked up. Everybody's back. They're there. They keep giving recaps of what's going on down in spring training. They had Flaherty was pitching the other day.
To Lorenzo
Yeah. Took him to the wall.
Yeah, I saw that. That crack of the bat, man, hitting that wood, might have gave me. Never mind.
Yes.
Anyways,
but no, Scooble got taken deep the other day. I forgot who took him deep, but it's all. And it's not a bad thing. Because,
hopefully, it's your boy Baez.
Here, it's like a bittersweet thing, right? It's like, oh man, Scooble and Flaherty getting rocked, but it's also like, oh, our young guys can hit Scooble and Flaherty, which means they could hit anybody else in the league, right?
Yeah, so, I think Tigers fans should be excited for the depth, especially in the minor leagues. I really do. Like I'm really pumped.
Well, let's get the BS out of the way. Bregman's not a Tiger.
Yes,
let's get that out of the way before we start talking about our team.
You know what?
I don't think there's much to say. Scott Boras, he was never coming here.
Yeah, Scott Boras burnt our ass. But you know what? Like, the more I think about this situation, and I'm going to have to block it out of my memory now, it pisses me off because, like, you hear this whole time that he wanted a long-term deal. He wanted to get on a contender and had this long-term deal. And then he signs that $40 million per year deal with the Red Sox. Okay, it's a 3-year, 120?
Yeah.
But opt out after every year.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Lions. So the Astros initially offered 6 at 156, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then the Tigers offered 6 at 171.
Yeah.
Is that right? Or something?
Yeah.
Right,
it was 170 something. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And he declined both of those. And then I think Boras either threw out like a 6-year 186 or like a 7-year or a 6-year $2 million. Opt out after the first year. That just tells me that, like, you guys are just trying to squeeze every dollar out of whoever. You know what I mean? It's not about getting that long-term deal. It's just about squeezing every single dollar out of your situation. And I just like it. I just think it's nonsense.
Well, and hats off to Scott Harris for not falling for it.
Yeah, they obviously had a budget and they stuck to it, and they're like, nope, I see what you guys are doing here. I think they would have agreed maybe after, because didn't you tell me that they had a clause for their and Harris's approach was we would give you an opt out after 2 years.
After 2 years,
but we just didn't like.
They wanted to protect themselves to make sure they got him for at least 2 years.
Sure, okay,
bring him on for him just to leave next year, right? Comes, has a great season, now he goes and he gets that long term. No. You got to be here for 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. And I agree with that. Tigers have to protect themselves too. Liz, I'm not mad at Bregman for going to get his money. Okay.
No,
you go get your money. I'm never mad at a player for getting his money.
No. It's the situation.
It's the whole situation, how it's brought up. And it's really Boras. It's their agents that are pushing this. Right. Because I read the thing, Bregman's like, oh, winning was really important to me. And Boston isn't a win now. Boston didn't do shit last year.
Yeah, they didn't even make the playoffs.
Tigers made the playoffs. We're a win now team. How do you? So like,
yeah.
And I agree. Boston is always a win now team. I think they're always a contender for that.
They're upper echelon of the organization.
They're always.
I agree.
Yes, they're always there. But don't say that. Oh, I'm looking for winning and the Tigers weren't there. How are we not there? Look what we did last year. You know that a player of your caliber could put us over that that hump.
Yeah, I think the ballparks play a little bit in this too, because you got that short field and Boston, and the only thing is in Boston he's gonna have to go play second base now. Like their third baseman, I don't think he's moving. Like Bregman's gonna be playing second.
Yeah,
I wonder what that's going to do to him. And then also too is like, okay, so you're on a 3-year, $120 million deal, and you have an opt out after every year. I mean, are you going to be like already looking forward, like halfway through the season? Like, okay, where am I going next year? You know what I mean? Like,
maybe I should have went to Detroit. Okay. Look at them; they're winning the Central and they're beating us up.
But like, is he going to be constantly thinking ahead? And so I don't know. And plus, he's making $40 million a year. You know, who else makes $40 million a year is Aaron Judge. Like, and there's just no comparison. I'm sorry. So,
oh, yeah. No, I agree. I saw something. Damn, I wish I would have had the stat pull up. But they were talking about the difference because that was the big thing was, he's choosing Fenway over Comerica because of the. But I think only 8 more home runs were hit out of Fenway over Comerica last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because Fenway, they have the short right field with the green monster, but
doubles.
the rest of their field is huge.
Yeah,
it's 400 something out to center and stuff, right? So they got the short.
The right field's got that
distance.
Weird situation too in the corner where the balls just happen to they won't go out with the land.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's actually funny when you think about Fenway Park. It's like, how is this legal? Like that type of park. Like dimensions.
Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, how are baseball fields designed? I'm like, the infield is set.
Yeah.
It's a certain dimension for an infield.
Yeah.
And then do whatever the fuck you want in the outfield. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Every other sport, like it has to have a
100 yards
dimension.
Yeah. Hockey rink is it? The basketball court is set at this size, right?
Yeah.
A football, soccer field is at this. A tennis court is this. Baseball, infield, yes. Outfield, we don't care what you do. You want to go 420? You want to go 315 to the wall? We don't care what you do.
Yeah.
But I do kind of like that.
You want to put a porta potty out there, but whatever you guys want to do, you want to put a ditch. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I do kind of like that in baseball because you get what is known as a hitter's park or a pitcher's park.
Yeah.
Right. I think it is kind of cool. I think it could be boring if every field was exactly the same, 340 to the corners, 390 to center.
And it gives you a lot of variety with the ballparks. Like you and I talk about all the time. We got to cross this ballpark off the list because they're all so unique. And that's
we probably wouldn't be doing that awesome. If it was all the exact same.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's really cool. That's a really cool aspect. I'm not complaining about it. It's funny when you compare it to the other sports, and I guess it's cool. That's why baseball's awesome. So yeah.
All right, I got a question for you. So baseball's back. We didn't get Bregman. What do you? I don't know if you want to give a grade or you just want to say he did a good job or bad job. How do you think Harris did this offseason for our Tiger team?
Potentially,
and it's not over yet.
Yeah, up to right now.
I'm going to ask you this question now. I'm going to ask you this question at opening day, too, because a lot could happen over the next 3 weeks.
I'm going to give them a B+. They were obviously aggressive. They did all they could for the Bregman situation, and I don't fault them for backing out.
No, they picked up the phone, right? That was the problem last year.
Yep.
They wouldn't even pick up the phone to make the phone calls.
Yes,
they did.
Yep. I appreciate that. I know they wanted a right-handed stick and they tried and it didn't work out. They still need to address that. I like that they got Flaherty back and they literally basically gave him up for like a half year and got some nice prospects back. And then now he's back on the team.
I mean, could you not ask for a better situation?
I know.
All right. Yeah. You leave for a little bit. Don't worry. You'll be back next year. Go win yourself a World Series.
Yep.
And then you can come back here. What player would say no to that?
For sure. The Cobb situation. I mean, he's already injured.
Oh yeah,
that's.
And we talked about this before. That you and I didn't really agree with that signing to begin with.
Yeah. What's the reliever we got from the Yankees? Kane or.
Cannell.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I know he just throws like a ton of changeups, but like I like that pick. I like the Torres pick for a year. And
then we just picked up, was it John Brebbia? I don't know how to say it.
Reliever?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not familiar with him, but I think he did. I think he did a decent job.
Yeah, and I think it's still early. I think we can still have a chance to go get another bat.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to make a deal for Arenado or whatever his name is.
I would like to go get Arenado. I think would be good. JD Martinez name still gets thrown around.
Yeah, he's not signed anywhere
for a 1-year deal. I don't really know why he's not. I haven't really looked into it. If there's some type of issues there, or injury, or too much money.
I'm sure he's a Boris guy too.
And then we obviously talked about the Vladdy.
Oh gosh, yeah.
You know what? Yeah. I don't want that type of contract. No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
Listen, if I'm giving anybody a 10-year, 7-year contract, you know who the next player I'm going to give that to? There's 2 players that come to my mind: Skubal or Riley Green.
Yeah,
they're going to be the guys that are going to get they're homegrown players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they deserve it. They deserve it for sure. Yeah, like, and I don't even think anybody's like, and I know he did. Guerrero declined their offer, so he's going to be a free agent after this year. And then it's just funny, like all the media, they try to propose these mock trades and this and that. Like they had us giving up Hayuli, Colt Keith, and I don't know, some draft capital and somebody else.
Yeah,
it's just like no. Like, no. Like, for what, are you 1 year rental? Like, you're not even guaranteed you're going to get to sign them after this year. You know what I mean?
That's too much for 1 year.
That's ridiculous.
You're out.
That's ridiculous. So, it's just laughable.
Yeah, so, we'll get that one out of there.
Let me ask you, who are you, do you have a breakout player that you're excited to see this year? Or is there somebody that you're,
I do.
excited for?
I do. And we were talking about this, and I'm not going to choose the same player as last year because I so hard want to say fucking Kerry Bonds because that's my Tiger, and he is my Tiger this year.
Yeah.
He's my Brian Branch of baseball.
Okay.
So shout out to Kerry Carpenter. Yeah, I mean, I think he, especially because he was injured part of the year last year, I think he could have even better year this year. But I'm really hoping to see if from a breakout player to make something of himself is Trey Sweeney.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Trey Sweeney. I was between him and Jace Young.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's some about Trey Sweeney, what he did for this team at the end of the year, and this has nothing to do with getting the other guy out of that position that he plays. No, I'm really looking forward to Trey Sweeney if he can step it up.
Yeah.
And another honorable mention was he's already been an all-star, but I think Riley Green is going to have an even bigger year this year than he did last year.
Yeah, he had a really good year last year, quietly, and I think he's going to get better too. I agree. He's still very young.
But so for me, Trey Sweeney is a guy that I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
What about you? Who do you got?
I got Parker Meadows. I watched him in the second half of the year, when they brought him back up. And like he was just like a completely different player. And then even in the playoffs, it's easy to, well, it's not easy. You see it like a lot more often where guys will come back and they'll have like a flash.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they won't do it again. But like he did it in the playoffs too.
Yeah.
He played really well in the playoffs, and that gives me hope for him.
Yes.
Because I think he's key. Like that's our center field.
Yeah.
He's a gazelle out there. Like he catches everything. He's phenomenal out there. And then if he can hit, and then he can get on base, and then he can cause damage when he gets on base. Like, that's massive. So I'm looking at him. I'm really excited for him, and I'm hoping he picks up where he left off last year because I think he is key.
I think him and Riley Green have definitely solidified the outfield.
Our outfield's very good.
We don't necessarily have a left fielder. I mean, Veerling, but Veerling's going back and forth between third base and left field.
Yeah.
So that would have been a nice pickup there for us this offseason.
Yeah.
Or,
it would have been nice if we would have had Bregman, because in third would have been solidified, and then you would have that other outfield piece, probably more or less, somebody playing there on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So
I don't hate Veerling being out there.
He's a better outfielder than he is infielder. And
so that's why hopefully Young can step up and take over that third base position.
Yeah.
The one thing, and I know that, baseball is a game of analytics, and just like I wish Carpenter would get more at bats against the right-handed hitters or left-handed pitchers, because he's a lefty.
Yeah, he's a lefty.
So you want him against lefties, right?
Yeah, he can hit lefties.
So I want him up against righties, and I know they're going to do that with Young and Veerling, right? They're going to bring him in, take him in and out based on the pitchers, and it's like, I can understand that, but if a guy is rolling, let the guy roll, right? And don't you want to know how to hit both handed pitchers?
Yeah.
Right? To me, I get it, but there's got to be a point where it's like, man, you got to see what he can do. Maybe what if Carpenter can blast left-handed hitters?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think that's where Carpenter's probably going to be more or less your DH, and I'm sure he's going to play some outfield, and then he's a left-handed hit, and then you got Torkelson, who's going to probably he's a right-handed hitter.
Yeah.
Who's probably going to take over when Carey's not in the lineup. So, like, Torque essentially got demoted out of his first baseman spot. He's still going to play it a little bit.
Oh, yeah, he will.
Because I know Keith has been playing it now. But, that whole situation is going to be interesting to see. And let me ask you this. Speaking of Torque, Is he on the team past the All-Star break?
No.
Okay. And so
wait. Is he on the team as far as in the show or in the organization?
Oh, that's a good question.
Okay. Well, my initial reaction was no. I don't think he's a Tiger. But there is a good chance that he is just in AAA, and that's where he lives for this year.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't think he'll be a Tiger after the All-Star break.
Okay, interesting. I think he's got more. What do they call that? More. What's the term they call it? Like when you can move somebody to the minors. What's that term called?
Oh, great. Now,
do you know what I'm talking about though? Like when they have.
Well, is it? It's not an option.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
because you can be sent up and down so many times.
Yes, and I think he still has that. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think you get 3. I think you can go up and down 3 times.
Okay, so I think he's still got another option left. But I don't know if the Tigers are going to be patient with him and do that and allow him to go back down there and do it. I think they're going to try and move him or just let him go. I don't know.
I mean, let's move him. Even if you get something that's you got something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you just trade him off. Go get do a 1-for-1 prize. How about? I mean, because I think a lot of these players, and I could see this happening for Torkelson. He seems like a player that fits this mold, and there's no analytics that go behind this. That he needs a different view. He needs to go to a different city, a different ballpark. Mm-hmm. You see with guys all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, man, he's not that good. Goes here. Boom. Stud.
Yep.
Right? So let's find a team where who's your torque? We'll give you our torque. You give us your torque. And let's see if this doesn't work. Right? Because, I mean, what are you not really losing out on anything?
Yeah.
Because if he goes somewhere and does great, well, then good for him. But I think, especially baseball, you see that a lot in that sport where a guy just goes to another team and then just
sometimes it just takes guys a little bit longer. I mean, look at Martinez, JD Martinez. He was 27, and I'm not trying to compare him to his torque was a number 1 overall pick, but sometimes it just takes guys a little bit longer to figure out.
But JD also wasn't when he came up. He was here. Like he didn't. He went up and down a little bit, but it wasn't like torque. We're like, all right, he's here. Like this is JD's going to be our guy. And it's like, oh no, he's not. It's like they didn't really know what he was going to do, and then he got to the show, and then he took off.
Yeah,
it took him a while to get there, but then he was here and he was ready to make some moves. Torque, and maybe part of it's on us for bringing him up too early. That could also fall on.
Yeah, well, he didn't have like a fair shake because he got drafted and then they had COVID, so he missed a year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wish the best for him. I don't hate him. I don't mind him. I hope, I was hoping he was going to be part of the team. I don't think that's very likely, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So
Vegas came out today or yesterday with the over under and wins. I saw 2 different ones. But we'll go with the one that I saw today. 83.5.
83.5 wins
for the Tigers.
All right.
What are you doing? You going over?
I will go over, but I'm not ready to crown this team the AL Central champs.
No,
I'm not ready to do that. Like I still think this is a wild card team. And they may not make the playoffs again. I think they're going to be in it.
Who is your number 1 contender for the Central?
I think it's probably going to be between Cleveland and Minnesota.
Yeah,
I think Minnesota. Obviously the Tigers will be in there too, and I'm not trying to roll them out, and they very well could. But
I think the thing in the Tigers' favor is those 2 teams didn't do anything this offseason.
That's true.
They didn't make any moves. They're bringing back the same team.
Yep.
Which is also not bad. I mean, Cleveland, obviously, not bad to bring back the same team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Minnesota kind of fell apart there.
They fell apart at the end big time.
Bad.
They were in control of a wild card spot, and they just...
And as much, and I don't want to take anything away from the Tigers because they got out there and they won. Somebody let the Tigers get hot.
Yeah, that's right. 0.2%.
Minnesota they lost their chance at the playoffs. The Tigers didn't take it from them because all they had to do was win 3 games.
Yeah.
And they would have been in, and they couldn't even do that.
Right.
That's not taking anything away from what the Tigers did because they had to do what they did to be able to get to that position.
Sure.
But Minnesota lost their opportunity.
Oh, they did. 100%. Yeah, they totally shit the bed.
Yeah, I'm going over too. I would put it right there at the 84, 85 mark as of today.
Yeah.
Right. And I think this is something we keep revisiting.
Sure.
Because I do have high hopes for the Tigers, but I'm trying to not let my heart take over.
Yeah, right.
Right. I'm trying to still be very realistic of what this team could do. I mean, last year I gave up on them halfway through June.
I think everybody.
We were both like, yeah, we're not talking about the Tigers on this show anymore because
once they traded away Flaherty and just,
it was bad. So not going to be like, oh yeah, we're winning 92 games. Yep. We're winning the division.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. I think the 80s, I think Vegas is so good at they hit it right there.
For sure.
As of right now.
Yeah, I can see them winning. I mean, they won 86 last year. I could see them being right around there again. And you know what? If they do and they get in the playoffs again, good for them. So we'll see.
I agree. What else you got on there?
Let's see. I think we kind of covered everything as far as our Tigers go. We want to get into our stud and dud. Wrap it up.
Stud and dud time. Yeah.
All right. Let's why don't you give me your dud first?
Okay. So I'm gonna ask if I can do my stud and dud together.
Go ahead.
They go hand in hand.
Okay. Sure. Great.
So I'll do my stud first. So just because we skipped last week, this kind of the last 2 weeks of my dud. So the Four Nations. Look at us talking hockey. The Four Nations is coming up. It's going on.
Tonight's a big game.
Tonight's the final, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Canada versus USA. So my dud is Canada from last week. And it's not so much the Canadian hockey team. It's the fans that booed our national anthem during the game. And so you're getting the dud.
Yep.
And then
keep booing our national anthem because that's going to be yours.
The 51st state.
Yeah. Keep booing it.
Hey, I bet you that guy wants to be on here now.
Yeah.
Another story. Anyway, so my stud is the USA hockey team because they came out 2 seconds in, dropped the gloves, kicked the shit out of Canada. You don't boo our national anthem.
And then they beat.
At 2 seconds. Fight's over. Drop the puck. 2 seconds later, another fight.
Yeah.
You still want to talk shit? Another fight. 3 fights, 9 seconds.
Do they boo again tonight? Do you think they boo?
Well, I think the game is here.
Is it tonight? Or is it?
I think it's it. Well, were they in Canada when they booed us, or is it just the Canadian fans?
It was in Canada.
So I think they're in the U.S. tonight. Yeah. Yeah, pull that up real quick.
Right, let me see.
Yeah, U.S. hockey for going after them and getting the W that game.
Yep.
And I just thought that was great.
Yep. Yeah, it's in Boston.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
watch him. Is it going to flip? Are they going to?
Well, so I was wondering, and I'm like, God, please don't boo their national anthem. Like, let's not be those people.
Yeah.
Like, but I did hear something before I give you your stud that I did hear them talk about, and this is very interesting. So on the USA side, there's a player, and we don't follow hockey that well, so I don't know the name, but I know he's the captain of the Ottawa Senators. Okay. Plays for Team USA.
Okay.
So how did next week you go back to your team after you just kicked the shit out of them because they were bringing up and then it's the opposite. So 2 guys on Canada play on, I think it's Florida or something, geez. Or Boston. One's on Boston, and one of what were the Chuck brothers?
Kachucks.
The Kachucks. One of them plays on a Canada team.
Oh wow!
So they kicked the shit out of the home team. So it's just so like, what is next week going to look like when these guys go back to their teams, take the ice, and you wear a C on your jersey?
Yeah. And how is that going to go over in the locker?
It's going to be very interesting.
Hockey guys are different. You know what I mean? They could probably go back and like play their game and then go out and have a beer later. I mean, they might slug each other and then give each other a hug afterward too. But
well, I could just imagine those guys like the one Canadian player is probably like, I wasn't me that booed you. Goes, yeah, but I got to kick your ass.
Yeah, I got to.
He's like, fine, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
Are you watching the game tonight?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. 8:00 tonight.
All right.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
All right, your stud and duds.
All right. For my stud, I actually got hockey. For showing us fans
USA.
For showing us fans what passion is all about. Like this Four Nation thing is amazing. Like these outside, like if you're looking at it through the NHL realm, like these are exhibition games, but these guys are playing for their country.
Oh, it's huge.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's huge for them.
Yeah.
And if you look at like somebody like Dylan Larkin, he's actually like he's playing for something. He hasn't had to play for anything as a Red Wing in a long time, which is weird to say, but
yeah,
like these guys are playing for their country, and you like you just said, like we're 3 seconds in, let's drop the gloves and go.
Yeah.
Like this is what passion is about, man. And I love it.
Larkin said he hasn't played for a championship till he was in like I think it was the 18U.
Oh, really?
From before he obviously got drafted. So like
he deserves it, man.
No, these guys, they love playing for their country. I don't care if it's the Olympics, it's the World Baseball Classic. Everybody goes home to their home country. When you play for your country, yeah, sure, it's exhibition, but no, these guys will wear that medal, hoist that trophy, with the most honor.
Yeah.
It's huge to these guys.
Yeah, and it's good to see, and I think it can unite the United States in a sense. Getting behind all these guys when they
especially for a sport that is not popular.
Right.
I mean, it's popular, everybody knows about, but obviously football comes before baseball is going to come before it, and so I think this is going
to bring eyes to them and good.
It is good. Yeah.
I mean, like this is people like passion and
oh yeah.
Well, and that kind of plays off my dud. My dud is greed. It's ruining sports. College football is getting ugly. Like there's this whole thing where the Big Ten and the SEC want to kind of take over the playoff. They want to add more teams and they want to kind of control like who gets in based on their conferences. Obviously, the NBA blows. The Netflix wants to take a run at Fox or CBS for.
I saw that.
That was mind-boggling to me. And then Amazon Prime will offer, like for us here, it's FanDuel Sports Detroit now.
Yeah.
And they will offer a additional package of $19.99 a month if you want to watch the Tigers. So you have to have Amazon Prime first. Okay. And then you can buy this edition on FanDuel for $20 a month. And then you can watch the Tigers, Pistons, and Red Wings.
Yeah.
And it's getting to a point where it's just like, if this balloon keeps going and going and going, it's going to pop. And people are just going to be like, okay, enough's enough. Like
it's going to cost too much.
It's too expensive. And sports should be about competition and passion and hope and youth. And it's slowly drifting away from that. So
we shouldn't have to front. Well, part of these contracts for these players are getting out of control.
Oh God, yeah, baseball.
But baseball used to always be on TV. When I had Comcast cable, even just a few years ago, I didn't pay an extra fee for now. I can't have it. I can't watch the Tigers. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to do something. That I can watch these Tigers. I'm not going to go out to the bar every night and watch the game. I want to sit on my couch and watch the games, right? And it's stupid that I can't even watch my local team play.
Yeah.
Now, if I wanted to watch, and this is what's so stupid about these app things, if I wanted to watch the Tigers play, I have to buy the app. But it's okay. I can find ways to watch people outside my market. No, that's where I should be paying.
Yeah, right.
If I want to watch the LA Angels play, I should have to pay to watch them. Not my team that's 20 miles down the street from me.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, it's in the game. Like if you want to go to the games, it's too expensive too, and it's just like it's really taking the enjoyment and the fun out of it. You can even see it, like it's the way like especially like when I said the NBA blows is just because you compare it to hockey. There's no passion anymore. Like guys move around so much because as soon as they get upset, they want out of there. You know what I mean? And it's getting bad. And in college football or college sports in general, like now the NIL and guys can transfer every single year, and it's getting weird, man.
It is
really weird.
It is these sports, and right now everyone's going to continue to pay it because that sports. I mean, it's part of our lives so much. But I think you're right. I think it will hit a bubble and pop. Yeah, that we're not going to take it anymore. But that just sucks that we have to get to this point.
I know, it really does. But it's it's also like one of those things where it's like all good things come to an end, and I don't know if this is the beginning of the end.
Right.
I don't know, but I just don't like where it's headed. So that's it.
That's it. Well,
that's all she wrote.
There ain't
no greed over here on the mics.
No.
So don't you worry.
We want to pass out all the love.
We want love.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yep.
USA, Canada tonight.
Yep.
Go USA. Let's go take care of business. Dylan Larkin.
Yep.
Rooting for you.
Let's get at it.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yes. Thank you very much. Love you guys.
Thank you all for sticking with us for a year.
Yes.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Nothing but love for you guys.
Yep. Please like, share, subscribe. Well, we don't have like subscription.
We're not going to make you guys $20 a month to listen to Mike's on the Mics.
You're right.
But you have to get us through Amazon Prime.